making racially motivated 911 calls a crime. And I noticed Harry and Meghan placed a crystal display in the Zoom background of their Montecito home, which somehow seemed relevant. It was a new era. Liberals, those weak, wishy-washy compromisers, the hemmers and hawers, were out. Washing them away was the new progressive. They came with politics built on the idea that people are profoundly good. Denatured only by capitalism, by colonialism and whiteness and heteronormativity. It was a heady, beautiful philosophy. The police could be abolished because people are kind and, once rescued from poverty and racism, wouldn't hurt each other. Homeless addicts can set up long-term communities in public parks because they absolutely will share space conscientiously with local families. Neighborhoods can be given over to protest movements because those protest movements know how to hold themselves accountable. And because city governments are old-fashioned and unnecessary when people are good. We don't need to authorize new housing because we can just ask young professionals not to move to a crowded town, and they'll of course understand. Gender dysphoric children should be given the medical interventions they ask for at any age they ask, because those children know themselves perfectly. If a nonprofit leader says they're spending money on Black lives, then that is what they're doing. And to ask for records is part of the problem. The new progressive knows that people are good and stable, reasonable and giving. I was in those days, in the days of Harry and Meghan and the crystal and the sense of universal goodness, a successful young reporter at the New York Times, a new progressive doing the only job she had ever wanted. The truth is hard, the ads would say, and I believed in that ad copy in an almost religious way. I felt I'd met destiny when I badged in to visit headquarters. Before I got the offer, I would look in the mirror and practice. Hi, it's Nellie Bowles with the New York Times. Hi, Nellie Bowles, New York Times. Excuse me, a question from the New York Times? In college, I would look up the names of all the writers on the front page and try to figure out their paths to that page. Donald J. Trump was the president when I joined. Subscriptions were surging, and subscribers wanted something specific for their money. The Times would be the heart of resistance. We would champion the beautiful world that could be. My stories, fun riffs from Silicon Valley, investigations into creeps using video games to get kids, send-ups of conservative figures, fit right in. My work was cited in all company meetings. I wrote big stories. I would go into the bureau on Sunday, and I never missed a happy hour. Then something changed. The Black Lives Matter movement swept in. And as the movement grew, protests overtook the country, and money came fast, and some of the hashtag resistance started to get strange. But our job was to ignore all that. If parts of the movement were goofy, it was not funny. My cohort took it as gospel when a nice white lady said that being on time and objectivity were white values, and this was a progressive belief, for example. But also, it was important to note that there was no revolution happening, and any backlash to it was bizarre and also vile. Because if it was happening, it was good. Even after Biden won and the threat of Trump faded, that tight narrative, that party line, had to be held. Everything was deathly serious. The letter X needed to be added to gender-neutral words to indicate extra gender neutralness, extra pro-trans. Folks became folks. Groups that didn't want to be given new names were given them anyway to show gender neutrality. Latino became Latinx. Otherwise, you were a monster. Most of the new guard at the paper had come there for that revolution. They entered the building on a mission.